Hey everyone, welcome back to another video from A Man Talks NRL SuperCoach. In today's video, I'm going to go through my round 11 team and my planned trades for the week. It's recording about 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon, so just an hour ahead of the West Tigers Warriors game, so I thought I'd just quickly get this video out for you guys as to what I'm thinking to do to my team for this week. So the Cowboys and Knights have already played. I had Jaden Brayley and Mitch Barnett playing that game. I didn't, at the last minute, decide to reserve Connor Watson, given that I just kind of decided Josh Schuster versus Connor Watson. You know, the minutes are on Schuster's favour. Even though he's playing in a tough game against the Eels, I was happy to keep the reserve on Schuster and forego Watson, which turned out to be the right decision. He only came away with around 40-something points. So in my trade thoughts video, I was really big on Nicho Hynes, as you guys might know, and he's definitely like the hot topic of the week. And I've decided I think it's good to get him in. I think he's guaranteed to play, obviously this round. The talk is that Pappenhausen is very unlikely to play in round 12 against the Broncos, so Nicho Hynes is going to get another run there, and then he'll play in round 13. There's already 3 games in a row where his price is hopefully going to balloon up to over 700k, even at that point during the origin period, with Cam Munster obviously maybe potentially getting rested. I think he could be useful for some plays here and there. Otherwise, if not, you can make a good tidy profit on him selling him after he's made quite a lot of money. So I'm very keen on getting Nicho Hynes in this week. What I'm not keen on doing is doing Dane Laurie to Nicho Hynes, which is a very popular trade. I think Laurie against the Warriors tonight hopefully should do well, and he'll cover round 13, so I'm definitely conscious of that. So I'm not really too keen on doing that Laurie to Hynes trade. And looking at my reserve centers here, we've got Staines, Simonson and Fusatua. Staines got a negative break even, so I'm not looking to move him on, and he'll cover round 13. Fusatua is not doing anything, he's just sitting away there. And Simonson has got a low break even, but again, not really been too thrilled with his scores, and he's coming up against the Storm, so I'm not expecting anything big here this week. So definitely Simonson and Fusatua are on the chopping block for Nicho Hynes. And I've done a bit of the calculations before, and I can only move on Simonson if I want to afford it with the planned trades I'm doing. And Fusatua, as we kind of learnt just yesterday actually, is that Joseph Suwali is going to be making his debut for the Roosters this week. We don't quite know yet who he's going to be replacing, but the word is that it's going to be in place of Josh Morris, which is good because I've got Ikavalu, and I was really concerned that maybe Ikavalu was getting a drop, but it looks like it's Josh Morris who's getting a rest, and Suwali's coming in. So Suwali is looking like a decent centre wing trade-in target as a bit of a downgrade in the next few weeks. So definitely looking to do like a Fusatua down to Suwali in the future to make a little bit of coin. So for that reason, I'm probably looking to shift Simonson on this week. So trading out Bailey Simonson with the cash that I've got at the moment, I got 457k available. So if I want to get in Nicho Hynes, I'm going to need to create 125k somewhere else in my team. And Nicho Hynes, I'm really keen on getting him in my centre wing and not in my fullbacks, where I've currently got James Tedesco and Clint Gutherson. So in order to create 125k, I was looking at the rest of my team, and to be honest, probably the main person I'm looking to shift on to make some of that money is Siusa Takiaho. He's coming off the bench. He's got starting to leak cash with these low scores, and I do think he will actually come around. I think in the bigger games against tougher opposition, he is probably going to play more minutes. So I was toying up potentially whether I would trade out Christian Welch instead of Takiaho this week. That would give me extra money to play with by doing Welch downgrade. But the way I see it, Welch is providing points a little bit more consistently than Takiaho. And yes, Welch is going to play Origin, but I think for the interim, I think Welch is definitely a better play than Takiaho in my 17. So for that reason, I'll be looking to trade out Takiaho this week. Now, trading out Takiaho, I've got 320k available to be able to make a downgrade to afford that Bailey Simonson to Nicho Hynes trade. And looking at that, cash balance, it's not really too much to play with in terms of who we can select. So I think the guy that I'm probably most keen on getting is like a Tom Flegler. So I've just put the filter here for players that I can afford, and I've also sorted it by 3-round average. He's second on that list in terms of the players that I can afford under 320k with a 3-round average of 43, and he scored 45 last week and a 57 the week before, and we know that he's getting hopefully an extended stint at lock with Pat Carrigan going out for the rest of the season. I think I have heard some talk that Kobe Hetherington is actually preferred. Maybe that will affect Flegler's minutes, but for the short term, I think Flegler at 303k, I did talk about him in my trade targets video. If he can knock around like a 45 to 50 points every week at his price, front row forward, it's got the least upside of any position. I'd happily take that out of a third front row forward. I don't have to play him in my 17, so that is an advantage. If I had to play my 17, I wouldn't be too happy about that. And he also will cover round 13, so that definitely comes in handy. Obviously, Takiaho would cover round 17, which is definitely a bit more of a barren kind of bye week, but I think we can plan for that hopefully a little bit later. Flegler, I think for now, will provide some cover for that round 13 a bye week. He's got a break even of 8, so if you're hopefully scoring around 45 to 50 points, he might be a slow burn, maybe make me like 50 to 60k, but I'm happy to take on that just to fund really the Simonson to Nico Hines trade. I think alternatively, if I didn't want to go for Tom Flegler, you could maybe look at some of these Dragon middle forwards like a Farmer Sully, because they've got a lot of suspensions in that pack now with Josh Maguire out, Terrell Fulmer-Yona out, so you could look to one of those guys, but I'm just looking at Flegler because I think hopefully he can provide maybe a little bit more consistent point scoring. So honestly, there's not really probably too much in that decision, but I'm just going to stick with Flegler. I've done a bit more research into his stats. I'm a bit more comfortable going with him. But those are the planned trades that I'm going to be doing for this week. I'm not going to click the complete trades button just yet, just to make sure that there's no kind of surprises out of team list before I make my trades. I don't want to get caught up in that situation. And tonight's game against the Warriors and the Tigers, it's not going to affect any of my selections, so I'm happy I can still wait. And later on, we've got the Sharks taking on the Dragons tonight. Again, that's not going to make any difference to my trades, so I can still make these trades tomorrow, but just to give you guys an idea of what I'm planning to do for this round. Now, completing those trades would give me then, in the center wing, Brian To'o, Dave Nofaluma, Matt Kavalu, Dane Laurie, and Nico Hines would be on the reserve list, and I definitely would be putting the reserve on Nico Hines. Fullback would have James Tedesco and Clint Gutherson. At the moment, I've got James Tedesco as vice-captain and Cleary as captain. To tell you the truth, I'm most likely going to be putting the captaincy on James Tedesco. That's just how it's been set up at the moment. And I might just throw the vice-captain on one of the Tigers guys tonight, maybe a Nofaluma, as I highlighted it in my trade targets video when I was speaking about captains. The Warriors have been giving up a lot of points to that center wing position, so someone like Adam Dewey is also a good vice-captain consideration. Hopefully Nofaluma is able to bag like a double, and he might be a VC that I'll throw the I'll throw the vice-captain on him, but more likely than anything else, the captaincy will be on James Tedesco or potentially even Sam Walker. I haven't actually made that decision yet, but I think it'll be definitely one of those two, given that they're coming up against the Broncos. I think there's going to be a lot of points on offer for the Roosters. And I'm not doubting Nathan Cleary at all, but just coming up against the Rabbitohs, slightly better quality opposition. So I'm just really banking on the matchup, and I'm hoping for Teddy, a big score from him. So he's likely going to be the captain for this week. In terms of the rest of my team, Jaden Braley has already played. My front row forward would still be Tavita Pangai Jr., Christian Welch. Tom Flegler would be on the bench there, but I wouldn't actually be reserving him. He'd just be sitting there as a non-playing reserve. My second row forward would be Isaiah Papali'i, Toe Harris, who's playing tonight, and Mitch Barnett, who I've already played and unfortunately had to cop his pretty low score. Halves, Nathan Cleary, Sam Walker. Sam Walker potentially as the captain, but haven't decided yet. And Luai and Schuster at my 5'8". And that would be my team, guys. So my 4 reserves would be Clint Gutherson, Josh Schuster, Sam Walker, Nico Hines. So I'm going really hard on the backs. If we hear any late news, potentially I could just chuck the reserve off one of those guys and put it onto a Takiaho. Sorry, not Takiaho, a Flegler, if there's any injuries, but I expect it will be those 4 guys as my reserves. And that would be my team for the week, guys. I haven't got that much money to play with anymore, only 17k. But hopefully with the downgrade to a Sawali in the future, we'll be able to create some extra money as we start looking to get closer to our final 17-20 players with the run home from the season throughout the Origin period. But guys, that's the video. Just wanted to give you a brief update. If you guys enjoyed it, would really appreciate a thumbs up, and do please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, as I'll put more videos out like this throughout the 2021 SuperCoach season. Good luck for round 11, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.